would be bad, though.
Last night in a leather-clad booth without a seafood tower, an elite committee of experts, analysts, and someone who didn't realize that a seafood tower needs to be a tower. You can't just order a non-tower. Oh, it's basically the same. Well, then cornhole and basketball are the same too. The verticality is not a component. It is the component. Fought and toiled and burned the midnight oil to deliver the best segment in all sports. It's an honor and a privilege. I didn't get a tower last night, and I talked about it all week. It's time for Nick's Tears.
Before we get to tears, since Kevin Wildes used his intro to talk about our show dinner last night and used Greg's intro to mock Greg for, listen, I don't know if you guys, if you're watching in 4K or in HD, Greg doesn't just, wake up like this off 4 hours sleep. It takes work, time, effort, and self-care to look the way Greg Jennings does. So I don't blame you, buddy. It should be noted that Kevin Wildes, after dinner, but before dessert, took a call from his family, who's out of town, and then came back to the table and says, so, can I go, guys?
Yeah, there you go.
And I said,
It's been 2 hours.
and I said,
Well,
why?
Am I watching Marty Supreme? We're just chatting.
I said why, and his response was, because my kids are at the Jazz Celtics game.
Yeah,
which didn't make any sense.
Well,
They're in Utah.
No, they had decent seats.
But what did that mean? You need to
Doesn't
leave.
matter. You ordered something called the Plateau. I wanted tower the whole time. He was like, we'll have the Plateau, and I bit my tongue.
Did you really question whether that was going to be a tower?
It was called the Plateau, and Greg,
more like
a
a
curling
plane.
stone came out. You got to be kidding me.
Time for the tears. No new eliminations because everyone staved it off last week, so it's still those same 16 teams eliminated. Which of these 4 will be the 2 teams to join them? We will show you the facing elimination tier. It's 2 divisions that will only get a team in the playoffs because every division champion must be in the playoffs. 2 divisions where one team is 9-7 trying to hold on, the other team's 8-8 trying to sneak in. Yet, one of the divisions, the NFC South, where everyone agrees, well, that team can't go on a run. The other division, the AFC North, were like, but look out for the Ravens. I don't buy it.
It's true.
This is for our young audience who maybe wasn't familiar with the greatest, in my opinion, sketch comedy show of all time, The Chappelle Show. One of the greatest episodes ever of The Chappelle Show was the Play a Hater's Ball. This tier is the first things first Play a Hater's Ball, and here's what I mean. We are staring at a likely round 1 of the Chargers going to New England and the Packers going to Chicago to play the Bears. And as my Chiefs will not be playing this weekend, I am telling you, I will, for virtue of really just trying to see Wildes and Danny in pain, be rooting for the Chargers and the Packers as if I have my mortgage on those games and as if I am lifelong fans. As it happens, to me, those are also 2 teams in the exact same bucket. Had they stayed healthy all year, maybe they would have been real legitimate Super Bowl contenders. I think in the state they currently are in going into the playoffs, they are not real legitimate Super Bowl contenders. Yes, KW.
Danny is a huge Justin Herbert guy, so it feels like he gets 1 win, 1 loss. It feels like you should abstain from Chargers Patriots.
It's interesting you say that. That's why I would need the Packers to beat the Bears, because then Danny's sad no matter what. And the Chargers to beat the Patriots, because your level of it's impossible my team with a quarterback in his first ever playoff game plays poorly.
I haven't seen it.
You also haven't seen him play well in the playoffs. You haven't seen him.
I haven't seen him fly. I'm pretty sure. Is there a chance that Drake May flies out of the stadium? Sprouts wings?
See, this is what I'm saying.
Never seen it.
This
So probably
is what
not.
I'm saying. We know how it ends. Texans, Broncos. We don't know when their seasons will end, but we know why. The Texans and Broncos, who have had exceptional defenses. Broncos been a little shaky as of late, but exceptional defenses and intermittent bouts of good quarterbacking with a lot of lacking quarterbacking and offense as a whole. Whenever their season ends for these two teams, we know what the script will be. Man, the defense that's been so great all year just, allowed 20 instead of 13, and the offense wasn't quite good enough that day to overcome it. Don't know when it'll end, but we know what the script will be when it does. We have must-win coming up in about 20 minutes. There's only one true must-win these NFL playoffs, and it is the Buffalo Bills. They must, of course, win their first playoff game, or else we haven't talked about it at all. If they were to go one and done after not winning the division, I think Sean McDermott's job is seriously in jeopardy. But then after that, it is this team, which is playing its likely final game ever in its stadium this weekend, because they're not going to have a home playoff game, it would look like, must find a way through the road postseason to get to its first Super Bowl, because they have squandered their moment as the only contending team in their division. They can't also squander their moment of likely the only playoffs Josh Allen will ever play in that Patrick Mahomes is not in. Polar opposites, Bears-Eagles. One team's defense has been the best in the league maybe for 2 months. The other team's defense can't get a stop. One team's head coach has 100% approval rating amongst its fan base. The other team's head coach, just ask our producer Dusty or Eagles fan Kevin Wildes, is on thin ice even though they're the defending Super Bowl champions. One team's quarterback, we know can make the layups, but we question why he doesn't have more explosive plays or consistency to his passing game. The other team's quarterback, we know can do all the explosive plays. We question why he can't make the layups. They have, despite all that, they have the same record. They're the 2-3 or the 3-2, depending on how this weekend goes, and they have very similar Super Bowl odds. How they got here, very different. Where they are actually, as far as chance to win the Super Bowl, very similar. I didn't think Marshall was nice when he named this tier this, and I told him it's not about me, but he said it didn't matter. Insufferability on 1,000. Can you imagine if the year there's no Mahomes, Trevor goes on a run? Can you imagine?
Insufferable.
Can you imagine what it'll be like?
Oh my God.
If next year's football season, I am instead of, because I've said Patrick's made 5 of the last 6 Super Bowls and won the AFC 3 years in a row. If all of a sudden I'm like Patrick and Trevor have made 6 of the last 7 Super Bowls, won the AFC 4 years in a row. Oh my goodness. 5 wins away, Kevin Wildes. Because that's what it is. Because this weekend matters. And if you're not, you guys aren't, if you were resting your players, it wouldn't. But assuming, you're double-digit favorites, you can't, losing this weekend would be a canary in the coal mine if you guys play your guys in a game that Vrabel, I think, clearly thinks matters, because being the 2 seed has value versus being the 3 seed. And you have the small chance, if Trey Lance can cook something up, of maybe even being the 1 seed. You are 5 wins away from immortality and 5 wins away, and you never took it here with the Drake May conversation. 5 wins away from Drake May being considered the best player in the league.
Well, I didn't have a chance to get through
but I'm just, you are. You're 5 wins away.
Too hard.
Do you want it? You don't want that?
It's just
he believes it's going to happen.
Honestly, all of our attentions right now is on Miami. Stopping Quinn Ewers. We're just grinding Texas tape.
The hardest path possible. That's what the Rams have gotten themselves. First of all, it's what they've had all year already. One of the hardest schedules any team with this many wins has had in recent history.
Toughest schedule in the league.
Toughest schedule in the league, but then also if we go back years as far as what their strength of schedule is for what they have achieved.
Okay.
And now they are adding to that path potentially on the road against the defending Super Bowl champs in round 1. Then on the road against maybe the 1 seed in round 2, and on the road in round 3. It didn't have to be this hard. It now is going to be this hard. It also would make it to where if this team ends up winning the Super Bowl, one of the most impressive start to finish as far as who you beat and list of wins and where they took place seasons of the last decade in the NFL, but the path is not going to be easy. No one saw this coming. Nobody. Before the year, Kyle Shanahan and John Lynch were talking about how this could be a, on-the-fly, not rebuild, but retooling season. After we talked about the Niners a ton all offseason, we didn't talk about it that much on the show because it didn't feel like, with all the injuries, with the quarterback being hurt, with Bosa, with Warner, with Brandon Ayuk, did he quit football?
What's going on?
Seems like it.
And yet they're a win away from being the 1 seed in the toughest division in football. Nobody saw this coming. And in what I think should be a bigger story, deja vu all over again for Sam Darnold. Last year, Sam Darnold walked into Week 18 with the best record in the conference to face a team that he had lost to earlier in the season. This time he had to face them on the road. If they won, he was going to be the 1 seed and have the bye. If they lost, he was going to be the 5 seed despite having 14 wins. The exact same thing is happening to Sam Darnold this year. You win the game, you're the 1 seed, the best record in football. Playoffs come through you. You lose, you're on the road starting in round 1, and it's all almost for naught. Last year, he responded in that game by going 18 of 41 for a $166 and a 55 rating. And that wasn't even the worst game he played in a 10-game stretch because the playoff game was next. But right now, the Seattle Seahawks are the best team in the NFL. And can Sam Darnold learn from what happened last year, deliver on Saturday night, and deliver the Seahawks the 1 seed? Those are the committee's tiers, Greg.
Wow, excellent.
Yeah, really good tiers. Look, it's interesting. If we can put the tiers back up, I'm going to talk about a team that is very fitting to move up, and the line actually fits.
Wow.
Insufferability on 1,000.
Uh-huh.
The Chicago Bears.
Oh, about Danny.
Oh my
Oh,
gosh.
my goodness, you ain't lying.
It's very fitting. But this team,
That's fair.
it's tough for me to even talk about it because it is the Bears. But the reality is, outside of Josh Allen, entering the playoffs, they have the scariest quarterback in football that will be in the playoffs. I'm not talking about I'm not saying the best, the scariest. If he has the ball last, you are on the edge of your seat like we all were when we were watching them against the 49ers. And he almost did it again.
Yeah.
This is what we have to look forward to. This team will go as Caleb goes. I don't care how bad their run defense is, how bad their pass defense is. They find ways to take away the ball, which is what you want as a defense. Obviously, you got to get some stops. But if he gets the ball with that play caller and head coach and Ben Johnson, with the mentality that they all share, his progression, his maturity, his just belief in don't give me the ball last or I'm going to deliver. This team has a chance to do something very special. Wow. So for that reason, again, polar opposites of the Eagles, it's very fitting. Also, if they move up, insufferability on 1,000.
You're right about that.
Danny would be
Well, KW, why do you?
I saw him throw an interception against the Packers to lose the game, and he had last pass of the last.
But didn't hold on?
I'm not saying he's
And
done.
missed layup
But
after
doesn't he?
layup.
Don't they have the most wins in the final 2 minutes? Didn't you show that stat as
Yeah, I
something
don't
that was
think so.
bad?
Similar.
I don't.
But
why
I don't
not
think that's
Bo
a
Nix?
good stat.
No, I'm saying the player himself being one of the scariest quarterbacks. Who would you
He's
say
dynamic.
outside of
Stafford, I would say.
No, you would not say Stafford is scarier.
Really?
Than,
Why
I'm
not?
not saying better. Stafford is not scarier than
Here's
Caleb.
the difference to me. Stafford might carve you up for 4 quarters.
Yeah,
Caleb
Greg's
might carve
saying-
you up in the last 4 minutes.
But that's, I think, what Greg's
And it's
saying.
got to be close enough.
But
With that defense, they have to be within a touchdown.
And
or
it
whatever.
has been.
Can I just address what you were saying?
Yeah.
Because KW, I agree with you that having to have all these final 2-minute comeback wins is potential, more than a warning flag about the quality of the team.
Mm-hmm.
But in my opinion, it's not fair to point out the 2 times that Caleb had those opportunities and didn't come through as bad, and then the 6 times when he had those opportunities and did come through as also bad. So, you're right. Against the Packers and against the Niners, he had an opportunity to be 8-0 in those situations, but being 6-2 in those spots again.
Nice. Also, I think the Packers' throw was overrated.
The Packers' throw was overrated.
The throw to beat the Packers in overtime.
The difficulty.
Why?
Because I felt like they were just going to walk down and kick a field goal. They decided to go for a big
Drake
kill.
made that.
I mean, you can't.
That's a little hate.
I'm just telling. It's like hitting a game-winning shot when it's a tie game. I'm like, you guys were going to probably win anyways. They were driving the field.
They weren't driving the field. They were at midfield.
They were moving the ball. They got the ball at midfield.
Right, so they weren't moving the ball. It was the first play of the drive, wasn't it?
They were going to drive. I'm just saying it was overrated play, in my opinion. Wow. I don't view it as an iconic play. I view it as like, you decided to go for a touchdown rather than a field goal.
I don't view it as an iconic.
I mean, iconic. There's a difference between iconic and you're just like assuming that was outdoors in the winter. Cairo Santos was just going to. Just guaranteed.
It's a very nice play.
It was on the money.
It was a nice play. They could have kicked a field goal.
Maybe.
1 minute later.
They weren't in field goal range, and they have to make the. I don't even understand this take.
I thought it was overrated. There's nothing to understand about it. I thought it was overrated.
It's pure haterade.
All right, go ahead.
That was a nice little pass.
It was a second-year quarterback.
Yeah, it's unbelievable. It's nobody but Drake May and the Patriots are
right. He's the only good quarterback.
It was good. I'm just saying it was an amazing play in a game I think the Bears were going to win once they got the ball.
So it was an amazing play or it was a nice little play?
Both. It's a nice
go ahead, bro.
Right?
It was amazing, but you could have also done nice little stuff.
All right, can we stop? Dusty's going to love this. Can we stop the hating on the Eagles?
Dusty's not going to love it. He does not believe in this team.
Move the Eagles up.
Now, where?
Now, I will say this. It is difficult to pick the best team in the NFL right now because it's all a mishmash, right? So I'm not going to hate on – I don't think Seattle's the best, but if you want to have them up number 1, that's fine. But what I am saying is that the Eagles should be up there.
Above Chicago, who housed them?
Yeah. Above the Rams, who they housed.
They didn't house the Rams. There was a blocked
field
goal.
They put 33 points on them.
It was a fight. The Rams are kicking a field goal to beat them.
A W is a W.
I understand, but they didn't house them.
And the Eagles
kicking a field goal
and
to beat
here's
them.
the thing, too. They are not paying the head coach to be polite. All right? I get it that he's uncouth. I get it that he might have a big mouth and say stuff that, after games in the tunnel, who talking now, or whatever he's saying.
Yeah.
Maybe he rubs some of the players the wrong way. The dude wins football games. That's all I'm paying him for. I mean, as long as he's not out there breaking the law and all that, he wins football games. That is undeniable. So I'm not here for the Sirianni hate. I'm not saying he's Bill Belichick. I'm just saying he wins. And they weren't winning before he got there. They were a 4-win team. Jalen Hurts was who knew? Who knows what Jalen Hurts was? Most people thought he wasn't even a starter in this league. He has helped make Jalen Hurts, put him on a future Hall of Fame trajectory. All right? And so, and they have beaten, they're about to be 12-5, or maybe since they're resting guys, they'll be 11-6, against the 4th best schedule in the league. The 4th best schedule. They have beaten those Rams that are above them. All right? They have beaten the Packers when they had Micah and Jordan Love. All right? They are a team to be reckoned with. They have gone into Buffalo, and yeah, it wasn't pretty, it wasn't handsome, but they beat the Bills in Buffalo. That has to give them something. The defense is legit. I know Wildes is starting to come over. The defense is legit, and they have a quarterback that we know is not afraid of, not only not afraid of the big moment, but will deliver in the big. He has stared Patrick Mahomes in the face when other quarterbacks have shriveled and beating. So they should move up.
So can I make? So I think they're plenty high. I am on the same tier as a team that beat them. that has the same record. Every team above them does happen to have a better record.
They got this. Don't they have the same record as the Rams?
No.
Yes, 11. Both
Oh yeah,
11
you're
and
right.
5.
Yeah,
and they
that's
beat
correct.
the Rams.
I do have though a request. If Steve Kerr had retired after the 2020 season, which is the year Steph had the broken hand and they won like 19 games, and a coach took over. I think it'd be kind of crazy, but I'm like, that coach took over a 19-win Warriors team, and look what he built.
Who was hurt?
Hold on. You always say this Eagles team was this train wreck that he took over. They were
They
a
had literally
perennial Super
fired
Bowl
their
contender
coach.
who had won the Super Bowl. Yes, they had one down year, but this was not like a remaking. They had made the playoffs and won playoff games multiple years in a row. They had won a Super Bowl. They then had a
So why
year
did they
from
only
hell.
win 4 games that year?
Because Doug Peterson did a terrible job. They had quarterback
The
injuries.
Super Bowl winning
and they,
Doug Peterson?
Yes. The same reason that I think
Carson
they might fire
Wentz,
a
who got
Super
them
Bowl
to
win-
that Super
Bro,
Bowl,
I just think
was there?
I just think you acting like Sirianni took over this terrible franchise. I just think
We
it's
didn't
not
know
accurate.
what Jalen Hurts was.
I agree with that, but we
And
knew
they
the
were
Eagles
literally a
were
4-win team.
perennial playoff team prior to their one down year. That's the only
I think they won 9 games before
and
the
a
year
playoff
before
game.
that.
And the year
but
before that, they
9
won the
games,
Super Bowl.
You can't look. The fact is, they won 4 games,
Okay.
and it wasn't like everybody was hurt,
Okay.
and they fired the coach.
Yes.
I mean, they were literally rebuilding, if you will.
Go ahead, kid.
I'm moving the Broncos up. The Seahawks and the 49ers are battling for the 1 seed. The Broncos almost have the number 1 seed wrapped up, yet they're far down the tiers. I don't know where I want to move them up. Probably, I'll be honest with you, maybe I'll move them ahead of the Patriots just because I'm a fan of the standings. I have to give Bo Nix his credit, similar to Sirianni. Like, you might be like, when I watch it, it doesn't look good. The guy is about to have the most, if they beat the Chargers, he's about to have the most wins of any quarterback ever in their first 2 seasons. It's something.
And they were a mess before he got there.
Yes.
I mean, literally.
I don't necessarily want to go back in the time machine.
They were.
All right, here's the other thing, and I don't know, this is a little personal story.
That's a good list.
The Broncos lost to the Jags, and it's like, that's like a terrible loss. That
They got
shows
they got blown out by the Jags.
I totally get it. The Rams lost to the Falcons, and it felt like, stuff happens. What are you going to do? It's almost like because the Falcons are bad, we just totally don't even talk. Like, it's just, they weren't ready for the game. You can't. Bijan ran for 200-something yards, or almost 200. But so we just don't count that as much as the Jags exposing the Broncos. It's not viewed as an aberration game. It's viewed as an exposure.
I don't think that's what it is. I think it's that the week before the Rams lost, and I did drop the Rams, but the week before the Rams lost to the Falcons, they played an unbelievable epic, we called it Game of the Year, 38-37 against a great team. The week after the Broncos got housed by the Jags, they played whatever is left of the Chiefs on national TV, and we all saw it be tied 13-13 with minutes left, and you came in the next day and said the Broncos are not good.
They barely beat. But
The
Chiefs were playing. The Chiefs defense was playing crazy. They were playing with the heart of a champion.
I don't know where we want the Broncos. I'm not putting them ahead of the Jags.
They're the number 1 seed.
It's not the standings. You should know.
Nobody can beat them.
You know who can? The Jags.
Well, you know who can beat the Rams? The Falcons.
Didn't say the Rams.
And the
Drop
Eagles.
the Rams down. Thanks for watching. Subscribe here to get more from the show and to check out clips from other shows on FS1.